So I'm crunching some final battle value here. And this is a preview, a framework for the next video that I'm going to post, BattleTech video, showing off and exploring my new battle group. Now, we're about a month out, so I've got to really kind of hustle here. I really got to kind of push here. Starting a new BattleTech campaign, a spring offensive, right? April, May, June, July, August. We're going to play the spring through the summer. And it's going to be a variety of missions, a variety of games. And I'm looking and asking myself, okay, jumping into this, looking at my BattleTech collection, what do I feel like playing? Now, yes, there's going to be certain mechs that I'm always going to pull for such a campaign or such a game, a string of battles that we're going to fight it out. And some of those battles are going to be one-on-one. Some of those are going to be various mercenary companies linked together. And we're going to have a couple of really, really big battles where we're going to have multiple players on each side. And I want to say from that perspective, that was a big focus on thinking about the list that I want to run, because I love big games playing with other players in BattleTech. But I want to be aware that if I'm playing with 2 or 3 other players, somehow within that battle value, and there's never enough battle value in BattleTech, right? But somewhere within that battle value, I need to do 2 things. I need to, one, be able to stand on my own, because I might be isolated or things might happen or another player might do something, go off script despite the plan. I need to have the ability to stand on my own. But at the same time, I need to be nimble enough and aggressive enough that working as a team, the areas that my fellow teammates, my fellow mercs might have that they do well, how can I boost that? How can I add some dice to that? So this idea that not only it's going to be one-on-one games, but we're going to have a couple of big, like, multi-weekend games. Okay, filtering that in. I've got the usual mechs that I want to play. You know it's going to be a Warhammer in there. You know it's going to be a Marauder. We're going to put a Rifleman in, certain mechs. It's going to be vehicle heavy. I want to do tanks. I want to do some serious tanks. All these guys rocking the new Catalyst plastics, I want to scrap them all. I want to throw in some tanks. You know there's going to be infantry. So I'm pulling in various ideas that I want to play. And I thought this would be a great chance to launch a new battle group, a new mercenary company, build something completely from scratch. Not just play something I already have or pull in elements. Pull in some unique elements to really play what I want to play. And the reason why I thought that is we're going to commit to these battle groups, and that's what we have to draw on. That's the pool. So once I lock those in, I need to make certain decisions. Because in theory, I'm going to be playing these mechs and vehicles for a while, right? We're going to play this through the spring and the summer and kind of wrap up in one finale, one ranking in the fall. So I need to really, really get motivated and get moving. So I thought this is a great chance to do a new battle group. And that's what the next couple of hobby videos that are going to be posting up after this. We're going to get into the details and the tactica. And of course, figuring out, well, how are we going to paint these miniatures up? So it's going to be half build and paint and half kind of tactics and explaining my thinking. Now, I'm rolling this out ahead of time because it's a done deal. You know, part of me was thinking, I want to keep it secret. I want to keep things under wraps because some of my BattleTech friends watch these vlogs, and do I want to kind of tip off what I'm playing? But on the other hand, if you've been following my Tactica, you know kind of the vehicles that I play. You know kind of the mechs that I really enjoy fielding on the table. And I've already made my decision with this. So this has been about 2 or 3 weeks of really thinking about things. I've really kind of made my decision. So whether I roll it out now or I roll it out in a month, it really doesn't matter. This is what we're going in. This is what we're doing. So the bulk of the miniatures, it's going to be a tank force augmented by mechs. I'm flipping the script because usually when I play, if we're doing combined arms, I play the mechs first, and then based on the mech builds that I have, I look and say, what vehicles can I utilize to boost the mechs, or the deficiencies of the mechs kind of work with them? I want to try something different. we're going to build the vehicles and we're going to select mechs that can complement those vehicles. And of course, there has to be. Glory demands it. Lots and lots of infantry. Now, the challenge also is we agreed ahead of time. Combined arms, yes. Infantry, yes. Vehicles, yes. Mechs, yes. Artillery, yes. Air support, no. Just because we're going to have some big battles and some different types of battles over big maps. The idea was to pull in the air support layer over those rules. It might kind of slow things down, and everybody needs to complete their games to the conclusion. So what this means, a little bit of sad face, a little bit of Fritz sad face, no warriors, although later on I'll paint them up and add them in just to kind of continue playing it after the fact. But no warriors, no Karnovs. That's where things get interesting. No Karnovs. I've pushed up to my BattleTech channel here under the BattleTech playlist. Infantry tactics, delivery system. Karnovs are great. So now I'm faced with two opportunities. And of course, we are going up against battle value. There's going to be different scales of battle value. This idea of I could mech them up. I could do goblins. I could do just generic APCs. I could do mechanized. And I could just do foot. So we're going to see. But my traditional delivery system has changed a little bit. Sad face. But happy face because it just freed up some battle value that I'll be able to play elsewhere. So the focus is going to be tanks. Then from there, we're going to have mechs that complement. Now, the miniatures themselves, Death Ray designs. I'm going with all Death Ray design tanks. We're going to have their precast bases, their battlefield bases. I'm going to be utilizing those. The mechs, I'm pulling in mechs from the Catalyst Plastics. So everything looks up to date. The Marauder and the Warhammer just look fantastic. For old school, because we've got a couple of old school BattleTech players, I'm pulling in a few 3D printed old school mechs. And we'll just kind of pull those in for the dedication and for the hobby to put that, kind of the classic Griffin, the classic Wolverine, just to have those in there. Now, within that focus, if we're utilizing the tanks, what I'm looking to build is a scalable list because we're starting the game with battle value. And you pull from your types of miniatures. There's no limit to what you can play. I can have lots and lots of different miniatures, but I'm limited on that battle value that I can play. And then depending on the mission, the battle value will scale up. It might scale down. You might have some bonus battle value because if you succeed in your last mission or how things go, kind of a mini campaign, you'll gain more. Occasionally in the battles where you're working with a friend or other merc companies, instead of C-bills, you can send them some battle value. So it's like, look, here's an extra 500 battle value because you need it, right? Invest in that. So within my list, I'm taking a play from the playbook where my long range, my LRM missile list, this idea that it can scale. It's built around this idea of 2 longbows or 2 archers minimum. Then as it scales, maybe I add another or I add LRM carriers. So I want to do the same thing with this. I'm going to take core vehicles, core tanks that focus on my strategy, what I want to build, what I want to play, what I want to leverage, what I want to smash you with on the table, on the hex map, and then take them in multiples, not to spam out, but to be able to adjust on the battle value to leverage that. So we're going to have this idea of a battle group, an anchor of tanks that are going to be the workhorse. They're going to be what I'm looking to really leverage, aggressive, nimble, and push forward. Then I've got to have some units to support, and we're taking a look at, this is kind of the first draft of the list. We're going to get into the next couple of vlogs, the build and paint and the exact tactics, what I've selected. But wanted to give you guys a kind of a peek of the miniatures here to see and try to see, can you see what Fritz sees? If you saw this list coming out, what's its narrative? What's it telling you? What does it look like? So we're going to have this core unit of tanks. We're going to have tanks in support. Then we're also going to have a significant backfield of units that are going to be able to utilize and add support. We then need units to protect those backfield units, because my main tank battle group, my hammer moving forward, there's no retreat, there's no support. So I can't leave the backfield units offering massive support alone. I need something to deal with that. Then I need mechs that, given the maneuverability of mechs, can exploit different things. And the big thing on this, of course, I'm going to have the classic mechs that I like. I'm switching. This is where things get a little interesting. I'm switching out light mechs. I'm not playing any locusts. I'm not running. Now, the easiest thing, of course, would be like just take a Jenner. But I'm switching my light mechs, switching my light mech in particular, to do something different. It's going to be aggressive. It's going to be fighting. It's going to be part of the lance. The classic outflank, the classic kind of run up the side of the hex map and disrupt or recon, I'm pushing that duty over to hovercraft, hover vehicles. Everything you see here is WYSIWYG. It's going to be exactly what it is, except for the 2 hover vehicles. I don't know what they're going to be yet with that regard. I need to kind of look at some battle value, and I need to kind of make a decision and say, I'm not going in heavy hovers, but how light do I want to go? I mean, do I want to go really light with just maybe an SRM 6-pack, or do I want to have something with some bite? Now, I'm not taking a Saladin. Here's the other crazy thing in this list. There's no autocannon 20s. I don't think I've ever played a battle group with no autocannon 20s. The hovers need to be very fast. They need to outflank. They need to be able to be aggressive. Taking Saladin hover tanks, while they're absolutely fantastic, and I love them, that forces those tanks into a very specific role, which normally would be okay in my lists, because the light mechs I take, locusts and various bug mechs and spiders, things like that, they can perform the other duties. My light mechs, or my light mech in this list, is going to be aggressive. It's going to be a frontline fighter up there with the rest of the lance, up there with the tanks looking to exploit momentum and opportunity. So I need to have the recon being those hovers, how it's scaling, how it's looking. So that is the framework, and that's what we're looking here. The tanks from Death Ray Designs. We're looking at the bases from there. We're looking at Catalyst Plastics, the current plastics, and we're looking at a couple of 3D prints. I've got a couple other 3D prints that I'm waiting on to pull in, so I'll probably add a few of those in. They're going to be mostly medium mechs. I've got my heavy mechs locked in as the Marauder and as the Warhammer. Here's also a first. No assault mechs. I mean, no longbows, no archers. Actually, there is an archer in there. No assault mechs. I can't do it. Don't have the battle value. I'm pouring my battle value into heavy battle tanks. I'm pouring my battle value into that. I'm capping my mechs at heavy mechs, because, again, they're going to be flipping that script. The primary focus is going to be vehicles. The mechs that are included are to support the vehicles and to exploit the opportunities that these vehicles, these battle tanks, can create. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it works. And again, the next couple of videos incoming are really, really going to focus on that. The only thing that is not here yet, that I haven't made a decision on, that I'm still working on over the next day or two as I kind of crunch the numbers and look at the battle value, delivery system of infantry. So what you're looking at right now are just the infantry stands, because there's going to be multiple infantry stands. How am I going to get them there? And again, that might be a goblin, battle tanks. It could be just generic APCs. It could be mechanized. And there is going to be some elements of just ground troops, just standard ground troops. But that piece I need to work out and figure out, commit 100%.